Hello, my name is Nick with Save Your Home Chicago, and we're here today with Brad Ross, a client of ours who we successfully completed a very difficult short sale for at a very opportune, a very stressful time in his life. So the reason we're doing this video is just to show or tell people exactly what happened with Brad and his story, and it is a very important opportunity that Brad wanted to share with everybody exactly what occurred in his situation. So Brad, from Naperville, Illinois, you had called me up. You had a foreclosure sale date coming up on your house. When was the foreclosure sale date? When did you contact me? What time of day, and how did it all occur? And what were you doing prior to contacting me also? So let's start there.
Well,
there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions there. Let me see if I can handle it. What happened was I lost my, when 2008 came, I lost close to $3 million. And so many of my properties were getting sold off. This was the last one. How I found Nick was, I was in foreclosure. It was pending the next day. And there was a moment in time where I had still a stack. I'm sure everybody that's involved in short sales or foreclosures will know they get those stack of papers in the mail. Well, his was in there along with all the others, but for some reason his stood out. Now this was at 8 o'clock at night, and the sale was going to happen, I believe, the next day at 11 o'clock, I believe it was 10 or 11 o'clock. But the point was that I decided to give him a call at 8 o'clock at night. Now, who's available at 8 o'clock at night? Usually when you need somebody, they're not there, as you all will know. And so I did give him a call, and little did I believe, Nick answered the phone. And I gave him my story that, hey, guess what? I've got a foreclosure tomorrow. Can you do anything about this? This is my last-ditch effort. And you know what he said? It was like a doctor that walked in and said, I'll handle all your situations. Don't worry about it, and I'll actually get it done for you. I said, but Nick, it's the next day. And he said, don't worry about it. I know what to do. We can work it out. And this is why I'm doing this, is I don't do this. I'm not being paid, please. I'm not getting $1 for this. I swear to you, I'm not getting $1. I've devoted my time to do it because he actually did what he said he was going to do. And he had less than 24 hours to pull this off. He stopped the sale. We met at 5:30 the next morning. First of all, who was in the office at 8 o'clock? Second of all, he met at 5:30 in the morning to accommodate us. We got what we needed to get straight for doing it. He orchestrated something that would allow us to get it done. He stopped the sale. He said that he would correct what was been done. I had another agency, another broker, and another situation, another lawyer involved in handling it. They said nothing could be done. Nick took it over and essentially did everything that could be asked of someone in this situation. He not only got the foreclosure stopped, he got the short sale done, which the other lawyer and so forth said it was impossible to get done. He got done, and all the time he said it could be done, but as you all probably know from any experience that you've had in this area, there's many promises made, but very few work out. So, but Nick, what I'm trying to say is that Nick got the foreclosure stopped in less than 24 hours. He started the short sale process, got it done better than I could have ever imagined, got me more money to move with than I ever even thought of that we'd get through the government programs. He got us some additional money from the builder. Everything he said he was going to do, he did. I can't say enough about what this man and his organization did. And if anybody ever has any questions, or if they really want to see if I'm alive, if I'm real, I'll be glad to take any calls to verify what I'm saying. But I know I've said a lot. Do you have any other specific?
Yeah, so in Brad's specific situation, the most important part is we got the debt forgiven in his situation. And I'll give you exact numbers because that's what people like. He owed $640,000 on the house. We got the bank to accept net $159,000, and he got $20,000 back as relocation assistance at closing. And he was able to work something out the builder. Well, he was able to sell some appliances and things to the builder as well to get some extra cash on top of that. So that whole situation where 24 hours before the foreclosure sale, we were able to get it stopped, where he was working with another agency another attorney for a period of 7 months. They wouldn't take phone calls. The guy was on vacation, and other things that occurred throughout the process. He was actually working with a short sale negotiator as well, and she can answer basic questions. Not that we know everything, but the situation that Brad was in, I've been through the exact situation on my house. I went through a short sale on my home, so I understand what people are going through, and that's why we're able to stop the foreclosure sale, because we know it's a very, very stressful situation for people. So we just wanted to share Brad's story in this instance and tell everyone that what we do is what we say we're going to do. We don't hand you off to 5 different attorneys and things like that. We handle it specifically in-house. We answer all your questions, and Brad's story is definitely many other stories like this throughout the years. I've been doing this for over 15 years, before even people knew what short sales were. So with that, I'd like to ask Brad a few more questions on exactly what occurred in his prior situation, what he was doing, how long it was. So Brad, given that, when you first started the short sale 7 months prior, you had lots of people walking through the house, you had contracts, and so could you explain a little bit what occurred prior to meeting me and then what occurred afterwards?
What happened is we started the initial process with the service provider, and that was a disaster, because just when we were about to get the short sale done, but of course they didn't tell us all the options we had, and it would have been about $3,000 we would have got instead of $20,000 like Nick got us. And so what happened was we had first started with a service provider. Well, along the way, just at the end, they said, guess what? We've been bought and somebody else is going to take it over for you. So a whole process had to be started again. And of course they didn't honor anything they said they were going to honor. They had said the short sale would go through. I actually spent money to get some tax liens, not tax liens, but some other liens that were on the property. I had that removed because I'd already had those taken off. I had done what I had to do, but of course they didn't. Then what happened was when they messed up, I said, is there any other options? Well, they said no. So I went ahead and I acquired a broker and their lawyers who they had used. And like I said, we worked with them for 7 months, and it just did not work at all. The people that were handling the short sale, they didn't really understand the questions. They could never answer a question to me. Whenever I'd ask, they'd get upset with me because I'd ask a question. And then it was always, they were always asking for materials. I would send something in, and it was either not the right thing or they needed something else. But this went on for 7 months. And then finally at the end, because we had time, because what happened is the service provider they went ahead and they always, as you all probably will know, is they go ahead and have a date of sale anyway, because they assume you're not going to get this thing done, but they're going to try to push you some way. And so they already had scheduled a new date. Well, we were trying to meet that date. And that's when Nick came in, because this date was pending and we had a certain amount of time to get this thing done. We actually had a contract on the property, but it still couldn't even get done, even with the contract, because everything got messed up. The lawyers, the foreclosure process, and I think he's heaven sent. That's my just personal opinion. But what happened was he handled the whole thing. With the other situation, it was the broker, and the broker was fine, but he put his trust into a lawyer that, like I said, I couldn't even reach him in the beginning because he was on vacation, and he wouldn't even take my calls. The other, the foreclosure person that he used couldn't even answer a question, and like I said, most of the time was frustrated. Whenever I did get something in, it would be a week later that they would get back and say, hold it, we need something else. I said, well, couldn't that have been said in the beginning? So it was a disaster, literally a disaster. And as you all know, when you're about to lose something major in your life, I've lost a lot of things, but when you're losing a house, I mean, it's important to us. It may not be important to the people that you're dealing with, but that's what I was so impressed with Nick. As he took it on, this is why I said I wanted to do this. He took it on as if it was his situation. There was never a moment I couldn't get a hold of him. There was never a moment. He said he was going to make himself available. He did, at any hour. Did he take any question I had? Yes. Did he answer it politely? Did he say at any point, you know, I'll find out what it is? He'd get back to me right away. There was never a problem with the people that he's associated with. his people in his office and the lawyers and stuff handled the properties right. They did what they were supposed to do. Everything worked like it was supposed to. So that's what I want to share with people out there is don't mess around with any other situation. I'm telling you what, as perfect as it could be, this is the guy to do it. And like I said, I am not being paid for this, but I know what this process does to people. And the one thing I want to do in my life, and I try to do in my business, is I try to do the best I can and share the best I can. This is, from what I had witnessed through the service providers, through other lawyers, through other foreclosure people, and these are all supposed to be experts now. Remember, experts. They supposedly have done so much. And not that they're not well-meaning. They could be great guys. The broker was a great guy. But you know, he did it, he was not really wanting to do it, and he was a great guy, and he just did more of a favor to somebody else, and those kind of things. And so it's just the way it worked. But Nick, he literally answered every question, never at any point, and believe me, we had questions, and he had a lot to do with this mess, but never was he not available. Never was he not available. Never did he give us a short answer or put us off onto somebody else. I couldn't be, and again, this is why I said, I could not have been, it's almost like it doesn't happen anymore. This is the other reason why I wanted to share this. We all know it doesn't happen like this. I know this is like, I must be being paid, you know, $500,000. I'm not. This guy actually does it. And that's what I want to say. And he's just made this way. It's not that he's just going to do it for me this way. He can't, this is how I know about this. This is why I feel good about, he didn't just, he's only going to make a certain amount off me, just as he's going to make off anybody else. But he's just made this way. He can't help himself. And this is why I want to share him also. He's going to do the same for you as he did for me, because he can't do it. He's made only this way. He has no other way that he can do this. I know this about him now. And so what I'm telling you, he will do for you. It's not because he was just good for me and a one-hit wonder here. He will do this for you also. So please give Nick a chance. This is what I want you to do. I know what it is to lose things. I've lost everything in my life twice now. And I wish I would have had him on the other. I had a lot of other properties. If I would have had him, it would have been a whole different ballgame. But I did find him at the end. And so I want people to do this because you will not be disappointed. I'm sticking my name out on this too. You will not be disappointed, and please just give Nick a try. Just call him. I don't care how late it is. I called him at 8 o'clock. We had a foreclosure sale date, sheriff sale date, the next morning, and he still got it done. There is no time that is impossible for him. There's no event that's too impossible for him. Just give him a try. That's what I want you to do. Just call him. You will not be disappointed.
And he's